For more on this, let's bring in Professor Emeritus at Harvard Law School, who is also the author of many outstanding books, bestseller, including this latest one, The Preventative State, The Challenge of Preventing Serious Harms While Preserving Essential Liberties. Professor Alan Dershowitz. Professor, thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Yeah.
First off, you were Epstein's attorney. Is there a list? Is there some kind of massive cover-up here?
Not at all. There's no list. What there is an FBI interview of some of the alleged victims, and they give some names like Senator George Mitchell and Ambassador Bill Richardson and Prime Minister Ayad Barak and the daughter of Jacques Cousteau. We have no idea whether any of these names are legitimate or not. I'll give you an example. One of the people who submitted a sworn affidavit subject to perjury, her name was Sarah Ransom. She was 24 years old. She claimed that Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and Richard Branson had sex tapes with young children, and she had those tapes, and she sent copies of them to Russia for safekeeping. Then it was investigated, and it turned out she admitted she made the whole thing up. So should the names be revealed without also revealing the fact that the accuser was just making up the whole story? She ought to be indicted at this point for perjury. She submitted a false affidavit, which she has now essentially admitted as false. So there's a lot of that in the record, but there's nothing substantial. You know what this reminds me of? Do you remember when Geraldo Rivera claimed to have access to the vault of Al Capone? We waited weeks and weeks and weeks, and finally, he went to the vault on live television, opened it up, there was nothing. That's what happened with the Epstein files. Almost everything in the files has already been revealed. The stuff that has been revealed involves obscure people that nobody has ever heard of. So there's really nothing there. But I want everything out. I want everything out. From day one, I want everything out. As long as we also produce the material on the false accusers. It can't just have the names of those accused without also including the material showing that at least some of these accusations false, made up, and done for money.
Professor, what do you say to people that say, well, what about Ghislaine Maxwell? You know, she was Epstein's former assistant, girlfriend. She's now serving a 20-year sentence. She didn't sex traffic herself, so there obviously has to be abusers. Why aren't they behind bars? Why is this woman the only person that has now been held accountable for these heinous crimes?
Well, first of all, I don't know of any abusers other than Jeffrey Epstein and the people surrounding him. I don't know whether or not any of these people were trafficked to other people. The people all deny it, and there's been no real evidence of that. Ghislaine Maxwell is basically serving the sentence that Epstein would have gotten. She should never be in jail for 20 years. What should happen is she should be freed. She should have her sentence commuted. She should then be called in front of Congress, have Congress give her total immunity, and then she can tell everything. She knows everything. She knows where, she made all the travel arrangements. When I had to go down to represent him as his lawyer, she was the person I called. Oh, I need to go to Palm Beach, arrange for the plane, arrange for the hotel. So she knows everything. And I think she is improperly serving a sentence at this point in time and should be released for time served, and let her then disclose everything. She would have no reason for withholding anything.
So let's talk about this $10 billion lawsuit. Murdoch owns the Wall Street Journal and Fox News. So when the report broke, Fox News host Laura Ingraham, it happened while I think she was on the air right before she went on, and she was teasing the story, the Wall Street Journal report. And take a look at this.
Coming out, Democrats pretend to care about an issue that has the podcast world going crazy. We're asking for transparency, but we have new news coming on about this as well from the Wall Street Journal, a new report tonight. Next.
So, Professor, the interesting part is they never ended up reporting this story. Now President Trump suing for $10 billion after what happened with ABC News' George Stephanopoulos, 60 Minutes, CBS News. Trump won bigly. Does this case, this lawsuit, the $10 billion now against Murdoch, does it have legs? What do you think, sir?
Well, I'll probably be called as a witness in the case, because they also called me and they said that you wrote him a letter with a mock cover of Vanity Fair. And I said, I may have. I don't remember. This was 23 years ago. Just send me a copy of the letter with my signature, and I'll tell you whether it was authentic or not. And they said they couldn't do it. And so they published the story without authenticating it with me. And that will be an important point in trying to prove malice. So I suspect I will be a witness if this case ever goes to trial.
And Professor, before I let you go, New York Socialist Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she posted this tweet about Trump. She wrote, "Wow, who would have thought that electing a rapist would have complicated the release of the Epstein files? We all know that President Trump was never convicted of rape. Do you think President Trump should file another lawsuit, a defamation lawsuit against this member of Congress as well, sir?"
Definitely. It's a far stronger suit than it would be against the Wall Street Journal, because everybody knows that not only was he not convicted of being a rapist, he was acquitted of that charge specifically. And she's making it up in the face of knowledge that it isn't true. So it would be much easier to prove malice against her than to prove it against the Wall Street Journal. So I don't see any reason, if he's going to sue the Wall Street Journal, why he shouldn't sue her as well. No, he's going to have to sit down and be deposed himself, but he doesn't seem to be concerned about that, because everything about him is public. There are very few secrets left about Donald Trump.
You're right on the money with that one. Professor, thank you so much for joining us today.